Shalom. First and foremost, I want to begin by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakwakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone Well. Peace, blessings, salutations to the full elected is out there pushing, laboring, believing, and listening on to this truth with heart sincerity. And may the blessing election be upon your houses. All right, the title and topic of this lesson, all right, is going to be, as we see on the screen, all right, is ultimately the fall of Babylon, man. We're seeing this place collapse, man. Right, the same mass unemployment is what this place is heading for. Right, we see, the U.S. dollar had hit, one of its lows in the past 4 years. All right, and I got a couple articles, I'm gonna go into a little bit, just more so showing you how this place is circling the drain, man. Right, Babylon is really getting ready to tap out. All right. But this is from the End Time Headlines. All right, it's titled "The U.S. is headed for mass unemployment and no one is prepared." Right, and it reads, according to a provocative new opinion by Peace published by The Hill, the rapid integration of advanced artificial intelligence into the workforce has moved universal basic income from a fringe economic theory to an inevitable necessity for preserving American capitalism. The article titled AI Displacement and UBI warns that the current wave of agentic AI is no longer just automating repetitive tasks, but is not actively displacing high skilled knowledge workers at a rate that traditional safety nets cannot absorb, creating a crisis that requires an immediate radical restructuring of social contract. Right. So, they're saying now that AI, all right, is really affecting a lot of jobs, right? A lot AI is taking over a lot of these people jobs, and even said high skilled knowledge workers, right? Even their jobs are being affected by the AI, man. All right. That I forgot the name of this movie, but you see in like certain movies, right, where they have the AIs even being the doctors, right? They're the ones that's basically diagnosing you, you know, in these different type of sci-fi type of movies, you could say. But again, that's like predictive programming, man. I want to show you the direction is the direction that this place is heading towards, man. Right. So now people are losing their jobs due to AI, due to robots. You see stuff like that with a lot of like factory jobs, warehouse jobs was where you see it was happening most. Now it's it's starting to get to other places now, right? And let me get this right here. It says the author cites recent labor data suggesting that up to 30% of administrative, legal, and financial analysis roles could be rendered obsolete by 2027, right? So even legal type of services, right? Financial type of services going, they said by 2027, even 2027, that could be completely obsolete, man. Right? Going to show you that AI is taking over, right? Right? These devils technology, and that's going to ultimately do what? Affect these people from not having jobs, right? We already see massive job cuts, job losses. That's why, you know, I heard this, having a conversation with an individual. It was like, man, the economy's so bad, the job market is so bad. If you get a job, do not leave it. Hold on to that job, because the chance of you finding another one is going to be a tough battle, you know. But nevertheless, right, seeing this money, this is just one of many things that's affecting the Babylonian employment market, right, the workforce in other terms, right. So this goes to show you now what's going to happen now. What is this going to segue to, right? Mass unemployment, mass layoffs, right? Lack of jobs, people not working, jobs being taken over. And what's that's going to lead them to? That's going to lead to people, not having money, right? Scarcity, right? And ultimately, it's going to cause a lot of uproars and a lot of looting, right? Because already as it is now, a lot of people are living paycheck by paycheck in this place, man. And this just goes to show you how Babylon is falling. The illusion, right, of Babylon is completely crumbling before the people's faces, man. Right? Because this is what it's like in this place, right? Let me grab this. It's Haggai 1:6. Right? You have so much and bringing little, you eat but ye have not enough. Ye drink, but you're not filled with drink. Ye clothe you, but there is none warm. And he that earneth wages to put into a bag with holes, man. Right? So the average individual in Babylon is living paycheck by paycheck, man. You know, they get paid one day, the next day, or the day after that, 80-90% of that check is gone, man. All right. And they holding on for dear life until that next check come. So imagine how a majority of people in Babylon who are living paycheck by paycheck, when this mass unemployment happens, right? You know, imagine the state of the people. You're going to be seeing uproars. You're going to see higher crime rates, more people looting, more people stealing from grocery stores and so forth, man. All right. That's why they put locks on certain type of produce and meat items and food items in grocery stores. All right. But that is the place that this place is heading, man. Right. Circling down the drain. Okay. And mind you, recently Amazon laid off, you know, a few thousand workers, man. You know, and Amazon be like one of those jobs where, you know, you get that, you know, people be in the mindset like, oh, good, you know, they're not gonna really fire you that quick, you know, or they won't even fire you at all, you know. But you seeing where they're laying off people, hey, again, going to show you the route this place is going, right? This is another article here because, like I mentioned a little earlier, right? And this also, you know, segueing back to the you know, how this place is headed for mass unemployment, right? So you're gonna have mass unemployment coupled with, you know, the US dollar decreasing, man. The US dollar losing its worth, losing its value, man. Right? And right here, this article is from the BBC.com. It says why the US dollar hit a 4-year low and could fall further. Right? So the US dollar hit a low, right, that it hasn't hit in 4 years, right? And it's saying it could go further down, right? So the value of the US dollar is constantly decreasing, right? And right here it says, after a dramatic 2025, when U.S. President Donald Trump's tariff announcements sent the dollar trembling, traders of currency were expecting a quieter year. Recent weeks have shattered that complacency. The dollar dropped to its lowest point in 4 years on Tuesday against a basket of currencies, hitting multi-year lows against the euro and the pound as it fell 3% in roughly a week. That slide has since slowed down, but analysts say the reprieve is likely to be temporary. Most people would think the dollar should and could and would weaken further this year, said Chris Turner, global head of financial market research in ING. The jury's out on the time, but less so on the direction, right? So this is what's happening with the U.S. dollar. Right here it says a weaker dollar reduces purchasing power for Americans, something overseas travelers know all too well. If that carries on, the analysts say it risks fueling inflation inside the U.S. as Americans face higher prices for imports, right? The falls have also raised bigger questions about whether the dollar's status as the world's go-to currency, which for decades has helped keep borrowing costs in the U.S. relatively low, might be under threat. Right, so now so many things, oh my goodness, so many things are being affected right now, right? We're truly witnessing the collapse of the place before our eyes, man, right? So now you have this place that's heading towards mass unemployment. The currency of this place is losing its value, which then again is going to lead to what? Like the article says, inflation, right? Hyperinflation, right? So people aren't going to even be able to afford, you know, to ultimately live, you know, in other terms, because one, they lost their job. Now they're trying to survive in a place of hyperinflation, right? It's kind of like that movie, what's that movie with Will Smith? I Am Legend, right? I believe it was an I Am Legend, right? Where you saw there was a scene where it showed you the gas prices was like $10 a gallon or something like that, you know? Shit, just the other day, I seen a gas station that had literally $5 a gallon for regular, man. You know? But nevertheless, this just goes to show you the direction this place is going, man. and it's gonna be full blown anarchy, man. We are truly inching closer and closer and closer to the end as tensions increase. The economic system of this place continually collapse. The financial systems in this place continually collapse. We're getting closer to the end, man, and that's just gonna cause a lot of tension. It's the second Esdras, the 15th chapter, verse 9. It reads, "A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with a sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation," man. So in these times that, is getting ready to come, right? These terrible times are getting ready to come, to Babylon, to be a reality in this place, Babylon. You're going to be seeing, people that you would think was your friend, your neighbor, getting ready to put you to death, man. Kicking down your front door, to try to, spoil whatever you got it in the house, man. Spoil your goods, in other terms, man. Loot your property. Take your food. That is the route this place is heading towards, man. You know, Especially with how it's these articles saying, U.S. heading for mass unemployment. Also value U.S. dollar going down. So no work, people can't afford shit. Dollar losing its value. You know, prices going up. That's gonna cause people to bug out, man. Right? Because the minute you take food away from these people, they'll completely start bugging out, man. Babylon is being held together by a very thin string, man. Right? Society is literally one meal away from total anarchy, man. These people don't know how to go, a couple hours without eating, a day without eating. They'll bug out in this place, man. All right? But that is the route that Babylon is heading towards, man. And yet, a lot of people don't see this as what's about to get ready to happen in this place, man. All right. This is Second Esdras, the 6th chapter, verse 22. Right? And it reads, "And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, for the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty." And this made me think about the time of the Crown Royal, right? I'm trying. I gotta use my words wisely, so that it didn't get straight down. But the time of the C19, because when you went in two stores, it was empty, man. Right? People were either panic buying or they were, looting and stealing. Right? So when shit hits the fan in this place, when this economy is really getting hit bad, and your average Babylonian is feeling all this shit, right? They gonna be, looting up these stores, man. You're gonna be seeing these stores empty. It's gonna be bad in this place, man. Right? So there's so many signs and so many different things that's showing you the route or the direction that Babylon is heading towards, man. Right? It's ultimately heading towards this inevitable demise, inevitable destruction, downfall, of this place. Right? That's why it's very, very important to make sure that you are doing everything that you could possibly do to be found pleasing in the sight of Yahweh Shemal Shai. Right? Because we're going to need that hedge of protection over us in these times that we're entering into. Right? The servants of Yahweh Shemal Shai are going to be the ones that are going to be, kept in these times that we're coming into, man. They're going to be the ones that are going to be, eating and drinking and so forth, man. While the rest of these people bugging out, man. Right? But hey, nevertheless, that was the point. Lord willing, this was edifying to the elect of Israel. With that being said, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakwakadash, the belongs to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone Well. Peace, blessings, salutations to the full elect that is out there pushing, laboring, believing, and listening on to the truth with heart sincerity. Until next time, shalom, and the ball, Kwame Yasharallah, shalom.